And welcome back. For well over a decade, Nassau County has been under the watchful eye of a state oversight agency. It's called NIFA. That's for Nassau Interim Finance Authority, or short for Nassau is broke, say some observers. Joining us now is Adam Barsky, the newly appointed chairman of the state agency, trying to get Nassau County back on a solid footing. Let me begin there, Mr. Barsky. Welcome to the show. You know, you hear people saying that stands for Nassau County is broke. Is the county broke?
The county's not broke, but the county is in fiscal stress, and they need to do a lot to get out of it. So they're basically a ward of the state, if you will, because we've been put into place to oversee their finances and approve their budget and approve their contracts until they can get structural balance in their budget and be out from under the control period.
What an interesting way to have it be phrased, a ward of the state. I don't think any county ever wants to be considered that. And this goes well back, you know, to 1999, I believe, under former county executive Thomas Collada. We've had Tom Swazi in between a couple of terms. Now you have Ed Mangano in a second term. And yet you guys still exist when we all thought you'd go out of business. Do you think that the NIFA oversight has worked at all? And, you know, 17 years later, why are we still talking about this?
Sure. I think the NIFA oversight has been very effective in pushing the county and holding people accountable and making sure that they do things that are going to put the county on the road towards fiscal balance. So I think it's very important to have NIFA in place until the county can demonstrate that they can operate autonomously.
Yeah, because I guess you could argue it could have been worse.
Absolutely.
Or it could be worse if there had been no oversight.
That's correct.
And the state gave the county $100 million going way back. And we thought that that would lower the deficit over time, but has the deficit actually grown?
The deficit has grown. A lot of it is because of the fact that the county still borrows for operating expenses. And in some cases, they may not have a choice at this moment, but our job is to really wean them off of that and make sure they don't, because it's kind of like taking out a mortgage to pay your rent. It really doesn't make a lot of sense, and that's really helping to hurt the county more than help.
Or maxing out your credit cards.
Yeah.
And then you get into the situation you just can't keep up the payments. Now, this week we saw County Executive Ed Mangano resurrect an idea that failed to gain support from previous NIFA leadership from the Nassau Interim Finance Authority, the idea of leasing out the sewer system to a private company who would bring in a whole lot of cash. You seem to have an open mind on this, I saw from some comments in Newsday.
Oh, I'm definitely open-minded to it. I think we can't make a decision until we do a full analysis of the process, see what the benefits are, and we wouldn't approve anything that we didn't believe would be for the best solution long-term for the taxpayers of Nassau County. So it's worth studying because it does have a potential to have some benefits.
Explain that. What do you think is intriguing and possibly positive about leasing out the sewer system? What benefit would it be to the county and to its residents?
Well, first of all, the proceeds would have to be used to pay off all the outstanding debt the county has issued so far in the system, which is about $600 million.
For the sewer system,
yes.
There's $600 million in debt?
Yes.
Wow.
That's almost 20% of the entire debt of the county. The other part that would be interesting to look at is if the county could shift the risk for future repairs to a private entity so the county won't have to continue to borrow for the upkeep and maintenance of the system. So this would be one of the potential benefits, and any proceeds over what's needed to retire the outstanding debt could be used to reduce long-term debt for the county.
The county has otherwise.
Yeah.
And the county executive, Mangano, has indicated, hey, look, I know there have been worries that a private company would jack up the rates, but we're going to have to do that if we don't do something about that. Is that accurate?
That's correct. We did a study with our own consultant, take a look at what would happen to rates if the county did nothing. And right now, because the county's been using surplus funds to subsidize the rates, and those surplus funds are fully depleted, a rate increase in the next few years would be an absolute possibility. In fact, it definitely would be going up significantly.
So you got to weigh what causes the least damage and offers the greatest benefit. Let's turn to another thing that you also commented on. You're only a few weeks into your term now. Nassau County was expecting, or at least it ballyhooed, that it was going to take in tens of millions of dollars in gambling revenues from having 1,000 video slot games. But then, of course, we saw that nobody wanted them, and they wound up going over to Aqueduct, Resort World's casino over at Aqueduct, and now they're supposed to send some of the increased revenue they'll get from having these extra 1,000 games back to Nassau, estimated to be about $43 million over the next 3 years. Then you look at the fine print, something we reported on a few weeks ago. It actually goes to Nassau OTB first. How is that possible, and why would we want to give it to an organization that is already $12 million in debt?
Well, that is a good question, and it's a question that I've been asking, and part of the issue is that the state law, the statute that allowed for the VLTs to be built for the benefit of Nassau County, stated in the law that it would have to be done by Nassau County OTB. Now, Nassau County OTB has essentially assigned away and sold their right to Genting, which is operating an aqueduct, and as such, the money has to pass through them.
So they're going to get the money first before the county, or is there anything you could do to make sure the county gets a bigger share?
Well, right now, that's the way the law works, and we're sort of stuck with that. But what I want to require is that make sure that the county, the money that's supposed to go to the county is guaranteed for the county, that it can't be eaten up by a deficit or other problems at OTB, so that OTB would have to fix their problems outside of needing the money that would otherwise go to the county.
You're hopeful that the county can be put on a solid financial footing?
I think so. I think over time, yes. The answer is yes.
Over time, and we wish you well with that,
right,
because we've seen a few people try and still struggling with it. But here are some of the ideas that you have that we'll see whether or not any fruit can be borne.
Yeah, the problem with the county is that they're unique to many counties in the state in that they guarantee the taxes for all the other municipalities in the county, the school districts, the villages, the towns. So when people have property tax reductions, even though the county makes up only 12 cents or 12% of the tax bill, they cover 100% of the refunds.
That is a unique situation for them, and it's been battled in the courts, and we'll see what further will happen there. Adam Barsky, new chairman for NIFA, he's got his plate full. That's the Nassau Interim Finance Authority overlooking Nassau County's finances.